I just want to clarify your position here. Will you accept big money donations? Will you accept corporate PAC money, super PAC money, etc.?
Yeah. So, guys, super PACs, corporate PAC money is the worst thing in the world. And so, the first political organization I ever started was Wolfpack. And so now that leads to an interesting point. So, Wolfpack is meant to get money out of politics, fights for a constitutional amendment to make sure that we end private financing of elections. So, but at the same time, Wolfpack's a super PAC. So is that some sort of irony? Well, yeah, it's an irony. Does that mean it's hypocrisy? No. In my ideal world, the PACs that I started, Wolfpack, Rebellion PAC, even Justice Democrats, get so strong, so powerful, and this is actually the plan, and it was the plan from a dozen years ago when I started Wolfpack, that we use the Achilles heel of the system against it, that they raise so much money and defeat everyone who's against money in politics to the point where the politicians throw up their hands and go, we got to end super PACs just so we can end Wolfpack, just so we can end Rebellion PAC. So that they can get our money out of politics. So you could say, well, that's unrealistic. You could say, I don't like that pathway. I'm going to convince them with pretty please. God bless your hearts. I love you. Try in any way you can to defeat the system. That's my way of defeating the system. So if I was at the DNC, would I have voted for the proposal that they had recently to ban super PACs from Democratic primaries? Absolutely. But they didn't pass that proposal. So now I'm not going to do unilateral disarmament and go, okay, Joe Biden and everybody else and their uncle gets to have giant super PACs, but I'm not going to. No, if super PACs come in on my side, which by the way, is not enormously likely, but I'm being honest and I'm being principled. And I'm telling you, yes, I would allow the super PACs. And if I win.
So he's honest about the fact that he's not going to get any fucking super PAC support. Obviously not. No one's taking your campaign seriously. If you're a rich person, why the fuck would you waste money on this guy's campaign when he can't even legally run for president? So no, you're not going to get any super PAC support, Cenk. And you're really embarrassing yourself and really exposing yourself here, pathetically hoping that you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants it. He actually does want some billionaire to set up a super PAC for a shitty campaign and funnel a bunch of dark money to make him somewhat more successful than he's going to be without that money. Because he knows he can't rely on the grassroots. He's no fucking Bernie Sanders, even though he has one of the biggest online news shows with over 5 million subscribers. He needs the dark money.
5 million subscribers. How many people actively watch do you think on do you think they have more than like 200,000 regular viewers?
I highly doubt it. I think sometimes their videos get in the algorithm and then you know,
for sure, but I'm
happens.
talking about like what's their hardcore? Like if they started from like if there was like everybody has to hit subscribe again if you watch the videos over the course of 6 months. Like if they went back to zero, how many subscribers do you think they could, you know, drum back up? I think it's like 200,000.
Yeah. Isn't this fucking crazy though? Like,
of course it's crazy, but it's like it all gives itself away. It's like Elizabeth Warren, right? When she was, I'm opposed to super PACs, but only because Bernie Sanders is, and I want to look just as virtuous as him. And then when the rubber hit the road and it was your only option, well, you know, sometimes there are good super PACs, and it's like, no, there's not.
It's like Jimmy Dore and the billionaire money thing. It's like, oh, well, only I'm allowed to be funded by a billionaire. Yeah, same thing. My billionaire friend is actually the one pure progressive billionaire. I've sussed him out, and luckily his heart's in the right place.
Because it's ironic.
Yeah, and it's like the same shit, bro. And it's so infuriating because, again, if you just put all of Cenk's hypocrisy aside, he has been one of the best commentators to articulate the corrupting influence of super PAC money, of billionaire money, of dark money in politics. That's been his whole shtick for like a decade now. That's why he started Wolfpack. That's why he's made it his big issue for so long. Like, that has been the one thing that I think he's been objectively 100% correct about: the campaign finance stuff, the corrupting influence of big money in politics, and how that equates to literal legalized corruption. He's 100% right about that. And I think that's one of the reasons why TYT is, you know, to the extent it has become popular in the independent online media ecosystem. I think that's why, because so many people are like, thank you for just being honest about that. So many political commentators want to ignore the fact that super PAC money is clearly corrupting, that representatives taking money from the industries they're supposed to be regulating is clearly corruption. So many commentators, almost everyone on corporate media, but so many commentators in general, they just love to ignore that fact when it's the most obvious shit ever. And it was so refreshing, when Cenk and Anna were so honest about that, especially when Bernie was running and how that made him the preferable candidate to the other ones in the race, how he was not corrupt. Like that part of their analysis has always been spot on. To see Cenk just immediately throw that principle out the window because he wants some of that good super PAC dark money, Jesus Christ, it's depressing.
Yeah, dude, it's depressing as fuck, and he's trying to frame it as, it's basically the same as the Wolfpack. When I started wanting to get it out, we just gotta make sure we let everybody kind of get their hands dirty. So then they're like, hey, of course. I don't know. It just sounds mealy mouthed. Sounds like he's trying to leave a backdoor opportunity open for somebody to be like, he'll be like, this is actually how we're gonna stick it to them. They don't know. They're actually funding the guy that's gonna tear them down. You know what I mean? Anyway, gosh, I know people hate my whisper shout, but one day, guys, one day when you buy us a big fancy studio that's soundproof and all that jazz, you're gonna get the unhinged Zach. I'll stand during the live stream. I've thought about that, guys. How awkward would it be? Nobody stands. What if I just took that lane? What if I just took that lane? And this is how I always came to you guys. I just get up here and I'm like, come on, guys, WWE style. This is how I'm coming at you live. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be
if you raised your camera, then honestly no one would even be able to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like standing desk kind of a situation.
Yeah, but then that wouldn't have the same intimidation factor when I'm trying to make my point into the camera, yo. I'm trying to get in here. I'm trying to let everybody know what's up.
LOL. Yeah, no one would want to debate us if we're both fucking towering over.
I'm gonna take Jackson Hinkle's lane now that he's banned from YouTube.
Yeah, rare YouTube W. But anyway, let's watch just a bit more of this.
My first priority is get the goddamn money out of politics.
Yeah, I mean, I feel conflicted in the sense that I feel like you might raise more money by saying, look, I'm only taking small dollar donations. Like I have a hard cap and make it even less than what the legal limit is. I have a hard cap at $500. You know what I mean? You don't think it's possible you raise more money that way?
Look, there's no one beating down my door to give millions of dollars right now. And none of this is going to happen with corporations. No corporation is going to give me $1, right? I'm 1,000,000,000% against corporate PACs. And Kyle, the only rule we had at Just Democrats is that you can't take corporate PAC money, okay? So, but it is possible, especially in this fight, given the naturalized citizen issue, given the significant legal costs that the campaign will have, that at some point, some folks in that 25 million Americans go, yeah, no, I want Cenk to win this case. So I'm going to do whatever it takes, legal defense fund, give to his campaign through a super PAC, whatever it is. You can't give to the campaign. You just run a super PAC that helps.
No one's giving you money, Cenk. You're not going to get bailed out by some fucking billionaire who's really invested in your court case and your presidential campaign. Like, it's not going to happen. It's so pathetic watching him beg for fucking billionaire money. What the hell is going on, dude? No one wants you to be president.
Bro, yeah. Also, shout out to you, Squirrel Nuts. Pat McAfee. All I want to do is be the Pat McAfee of the left, bro. That's all I want to do. I can't kick a football, but boy, I can shout. I got the hollering aspect down.
They want to spend millions of dollars to help. I'm not going to say no. Now, if everybody says no, 100%, no, I would end it instantly. I think the way that they give, realistically, what actually happens is corporate PACs give hundreds of millions of dollars to corrupt politicians. Sorry, I hate to hurt your feelings if you're a Biden fan, including Joe Biden. The ExxonMobil's PAC isn't giving to people like Joe Biden because they think that he's a sweetheart. They're giving it to him so he'll approve the Willow pipeline and every other pipeline there is, and mission accomplished, he did. So if you say, hey, no, I don't like that there's some people that might help your campaign eventually, and you're saying you're okay with that, I hear you. That would actually be the most principled thing you could say against my campaign. All right, great. Then support another candidate, but Joe Biden's going to lose.com.
All right, so final two questions. First one, this is a little difficult. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but tell me the best thing Joe Biden did and the worst.
Oof. To be honest, I would have liked to have seen a bit more pushback on that front. Soft note, they'd been going for like 2 hours at this point. They debated and argued a lot. I get it. But damn, you did just get Cenk Uygur to epically fucking contradict everything he's ever stood for. And you just move on to what did Trump do good or something? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I imagine that Kyle, and given their like body language and whatever, they just really wanted to get the fuck out of there, which I totally agree with. Like somebody mentioned that, it seems like love Krystal, but her fake laugh makes me cringe a little bit. I imagine that she was cringing at all the shit that was coming out of Cenk's laugh, or excuse me, Cenk's mouth. Excuse me. Gosh, I hit the bong too much while we were streaming. I love Krystal, but you know what I mean by all the stuff that's coming out of Cenk's mouth. So anyway, I get it.
And thank you, Gabe. This is literally no different than Jimmy Dore letting Tulsi off the hook for her backtracking of Medicare for all. I feel like at this point, Cenk and Jimmy are two sides of the same coin. Well, the difference, Gabe, is that Krystal and Kyle aren't like supporters of Cenk for president. Jimmy was a supporter of Tulsi for president. So him having her on there to just let her run her mouth and then encourage his audience to donate, I do feel like is a little bit different than what Krystal and Kyle were doing, because they're just like, hey, you know, we don't have a fucking dog in this fight. We're supporting Marianne, not necessarily. We're not doing this to do propaganda for you, Cenk. We're just, you know, having you on to interview you and ask you your positions, not necessarily to get in a 5-hour long debate about where we disagree with you, but just to, you know, expose what your positions are to our audience that might be interested. So again, I would have loved to see more pushback specifically on the campaign finance and the Medicare for all thing, but I do think it's a little bit different than the Jimmy Tulsi situation, given that he was just blatantly doing propaganda for Gabbard, whereas Krystal and Kyle, despite maybe having some positive feelings personally towards Cenk, I don't think that they take his presidential campaign even remotely seriously.
No, they don't. That's the other problem, or not the problem. That's the whole deal, right, Gabe? I think that all of this was like, it almost felt like charity. It felt like Cenk was a charity case, and because of his connection to Kyle, and because Kyle probably wanted to bury the hatchet, and because he'd announced that he was interested in becoming a presidential candidate on Breaking Points, right? He first kind of teased it. I think that all kind of compounded him to them feeling obligated to have him on to talk about it. And then it just was like, all right, dude, like, it's like when you take a dog out for like a really good day before you put them down. you know, like you have this dog you love, but they're so old and cancer ridden that you can't save them. It's like surgery would be too much, and so you just, I'm sorry, it's true though, right? You like take them to the, you know, you take them to like their favorite spot to walk. You let them, you know, have a couple ice cream cones. You hug them a lot. You know, you like make sure they have like the best day ever, and then you just kind of like set them off in the sunset, right? And I think that's what they were doing for Cenk right here. I think they were giving him one good last day, one last final moment in the sun.